What up, players? It's WarbossTae up in this mud, and today I'm going to show you a little retrospective look at these guys, my Astral Claw Space Marines. Now, in the Warhammer 40,000 game, you've got two kinds of Space Marines, good guys and bad guys. The good guys are known as loyalist Space Marines, and the bad guys are known as traitor Space Marines or Chaos Space Marines. So here's an example of a loyalist, and here's an example of a chaos. You got your Night Lords and your Astral Claws. Now the great thing about the chapter that I'm choosing to paint right now, the Astral Claws, is that they eventually become Chaos Space Marines. They eventually become Red Corsairs, I think they're known as. They go rogue, and then they go renegade, and then they go full-on spiky bits traitor, and they get all mutated and messed up and all jacked up. But that's not when I'm choosing to play these guys. I've decided to choose this legion to paint, or this chapter, I'm sorry, to paint, because I really think that it's interesting to go and visit guys who, or visit chapters that are good, and then somewhere on the line, it all goes horribly wrong. So these are guys that come in the starter kit, the Warhammer 40,000 starter kit, and I painted them a while ago, and whoo boy, their age is starting to show. Like some of the highlighting I'm looking at right now, and the shading is pretty, let's say, offensive to my eyes. But I like some of the things that I did, like the gold gilt edging. The thing about the Astral Claws, when they were Astral Claws before they went Chaos, is that they had a very simple color scheme, just silver and blue. And you can see this in the Imperial Armor books that features them, the Badab War books, I think volumes 9 and 10. Very simple color scheme, so there's not really much you could do besides play with the washes. And so I decided to spruce them up. I give them some gold detailing here and there. Find the gold where I could and just pop that out. Also, I think I did something that is not a part of the actual canon color scheme, which was give them blue casing for their weapons. Like the bolters have this blue casing on their bolters. I believe, I have to look at them again, but I kind of did that when I was just looking at the model, and I was like, there's just too much silver, I need to break it up. So I gave them blue bolter casings, but I think they might actually be black or silver. I don't know, I just thought it was nice to have another color in there. And so those are my regular guys, and by this point in the video you are probably wondering, especially if you've seen me do these models, you're saying, why are you showing them to us? Well, because I have a very special unboxing to do in a second. But for now, we're going to take a look at this is a little retrospective video on my guys. Here's my Emperor's Champion. It's another thing, if I were to play these guys, these Space Marines, I would use the Black Templar rules. Because I feel like their playing style is very much like the Black Templars. They were crusading guardians of this sector of Imperial space that just got more and more attacked by chaos. And so in the end, they decided the only way to fight them on their own terms was to go against the Empire's way of, or the Imperium of man's way of doing things, and stockpile weapons and equipment and train more guys to fight and induct more men into their ranks and to just break the laws of the Codex. And at first they were doing it because, we got to do it. Business. How do you expect us to hold this whole region of Imperial space if we cannot even, if we're so undermanned, under-equipped? And a lot of people in the sector was like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Sorry about that. But eventually the chapter master, Lugft Huron, sorry, man, a huge bug in my throat. Eventually he was this charismatic leader, and everybody, he was this brilliant strategist, which is why it was so easy for people to follow him. Eventually he started ruling his sector of the Imperium with an iron fist, though, And even though there are sectors of the Imperium like Ultramar, which is ruled like its own little kingdom by the Ultramarines, the Badab sector became a lot more militarized, a lot more just tyrannical. He pretty much became a tyrant, and he became known as the Tyrant of Badab. And that's kind of where it all started to go wrong, when he went full-on renegade against the Imperium of Man. Now, before then, though, this is kind of when I want to show this period of time. So these guys do not exist anymore. These Astral Claws, they don't exist as they are. They went rogue. They changed their color scheme to just red, black, and bronze to fit more of the Chaos style. And then their chapter master, Lugft Huron, he just went. He went berserk, and then he got attacked by took a Melta blast to one side of his body, and he's all destroyed now, and he's like a withered, mutated husk of a man that he once was. And now he's just super mad at the Imperium, and so these guys, the Astral Claws, became the Red Corsairs, and now they're just kind of like pirates raiding against the Imperium and trying to attack and kill them, kind of like the Night Lords, wherever they can, just out of vengeance. And that's why I think the two chapters work so well against each other. In the Night Lords novel, the second one, can't remember what it was called, the second Night Lords novel, they kind of team up for a little while before the Night Lords betray them, because the Red Corsairs have one of their ships. But the ideal of feeling betrayed by your empire, your government, by the people who are supposed to support you, it really speaks out to me. And not just like I'm not just gonna paint like guys that are like, for the empire and for the emperor, and the empire is number one, because the Imperium of Man is like a pretty messed up place, and for the average human, it's really easy to fall to chaos. So for a space marine who's supposed to be 100 times better than the average human, it's a lot it's a lot more tragic when they fall. It's kind of like, it reflects to me Roman tragedies or Greek tragedies of the tragic hero, the flawed demigod or human that there's to defy the gods. There are a lot of great stories like that. You might notice that this character, Aiden, who was named after my nephew, Aiden, was one of the first times that I really effectively used the stubble effect, giving him the shaved head and the beard stubble. I've done it before on a couple models, but this was when I was really able to kind of define the lines where his hairline is, and where the cheek and the beard stubble would be. So this is one of my more favorite models. Aiden with the E. Okay, so why am I going through all this? Why are we doing this little Fluff Hunters episode 3 Astral Claws? Because, my good friends, today I received in the post this little baggie. Well, it didn't come like this, of course. It came in a box, and I had ordered it so long ago, and I just kind of was losing hope that it would ever arrive. That's kind of why this thing went on the back burner, because I didn't have a Luft Huron to lead my army. I didn't really want to pay the ForgeWorld price for him, so I was kind of looking for him on eBay. And also because I don't have the Astral Claws transfer sheet, which I am going to order. There's some messed up stuff that happened. Long story, so I wasn't able to get the transfer sheet for the shoulder pads. I really don't want to freehand the symbols. For the Night Lords, I think it's okay, but for the regular line troops, this was the best that I could get for the freehand, and there's no way that I could replicate this over and over and over and over and over again and make it look the way I want to, which is like very sleek, militaristic, and identical to each other. So I'm just not at that skill where I can replicate this design multiple times. But it was also because I didn't have this the Luft Huron model. So when I got it, I was like, what is this? I haven't bought anything off of eBay in like a long time. And then I realized, oh my gosh, it's my Luft Huron. He came out of the chaos of the warp. He has shown up. And let's take a look at him. I have not opened this. I do not know any of the quality of anything. Oh, broken pieces. No, maybe that's not. So you get him with a scenic base. Son of a gun didn't give me my black base. So I'm gonna have to find a Terminator base, but ideally I guess it goes like this on a base. This base is way too big. It's a Dreadnought base, but okay, so that goes there. Your Luft Huron goes on top. There's a little bit of tabs that we're gonna have to cut off. So ForgeWorld has air bubbles too, just like all resin models. It's not as prominent as in fine cast, but you know, they show up. So let's take a look and see what there is to see. There's flash over here. I see an air bubble over there on the right side of the leg. These look like little spikes on the sides of his legs, very savage looking, very cool. Don't know if this is flash or what that is. I see mold line there. Yeah, look at this on the side of his right leg. Is that supposed to be a design? Flash? I don't know. Let's take a look at this little bitty piece right here, what this is. Okay, so it's obviously not it's obviously something, because I see like the little skull symbol. Grenade? Talisman? No wonder this guy was selling this model. It is all jacked up! So he's got lightning claws. The Tyrant's Claw it's called. Look at this shoulder piece. Oh, pretty cool. So this would hook up to like about there. And then he's got a back banner that slots into his back. And it looks like it's kind of bent, but that could just be... So his symbol, the chapter symbol of the Astral claws is the what I showed you on the Emperor's Champion, that kind of profile of the wolf, or not the wolf, but the lion. But Luft Huron's personal iconography is this lion's claw clutching at a lion's talon clutching at a star. So I have to double check because this looks like it might need some cleaning up. A lot of flash around. It's got this iron halo. Goes around somehow. And he's got his flamer arm over here. So obviously he's meant to get in close into combat. And I'm sorry, I'm clearing my throat so much. The thing that I really love about this character is that he gets up close and personal. He's got that lightning claw and this flamer, and he really exemplified the Imperium of Man's way of, wading into the enemy and bringing the fight to the enemy, and just being a hero, being a real American hero. I dropped my flamer arm. So that's the thing that really appeals to me. These Marines that go renegade and become evil. Let's finally take a look at his head, which is going to slot in right there. Looks like he's got a scar on the right side of his face. Let me get it any closer. Ooh, super extreme close up. Yeah, he's got the scar on the right side of his face. And It's a really great sculpt. The detail on these ForgeWorld models is really good. Sorry, I get complaints about my fingernails being dirty. About my fingernails being dirty, hey, I'm sorry. I paint when I get home from work, and usually when I'm working in the day, I don't have time to trim and wax and buff my fingernails or whatever, and I take a bath before I go to sleep every night, so I'm sorry. I should probably, maybe I'll change my routine and take showers earlier, like when I get home. It's like not like I work at like a construction job where I'm like sweating outside all day, and I'm just not even gonna go on that tangent. If you have complaints about my fingernails, sorry, just don't watch my videos if that's really gonna distract you. But looking at the armor here, it looks really cool. I'm really kind of miffed about this, whatever this is supposed to be. I'm just gonna have to sand that down. For those of you who have this model, let me know what you think. I also like how the Terminator model armor looks very Baroque compared to the new stuff. Like, it's got this really great gilded, detailed edgings, and just the lines of it compared to a current Terminator Mark armor, where the knee pad is rounded off. I kind of think it makes it look more gothic, more old, and ancient. So that's the first part of this video. I am going to cut it here, and then I'm going to put it together, and we will see what it looks like when we get back. Okay, we're back. I washed and scrubbed with soap and warm water the different pieces of the model that I just showed you, and then I glued them all together, and this is what I came out with. Decided not to put him on his base yet. I want to maybe paint this up separately. And I love how when you look at the ForgeWorld model, usually, like with the Chaos Terminator, you want to put them, oh, look at that weird mold line right down the center. You want to put them so that they are standing and like they're leaning forward on the upper part of the rock. But interesting thing about this model is that it's built so that he's kind of like leaning away, going up the rock like that. And I think that is pretty interesting that they did that with the design element. A little weird thing I couldn't figure out was just a couple of fangs and little thing to hang from his chest lanyard, and if you decide not to use that, if it's too fiddly to work with, then you don't have to, but I glued that on anyway. So the look of the model, A+, definitely an A+. I see there are still some things that I have to clean up, like mold lines and things sticking out. Oh yeah, by the way, this is just like a little wax seal or imprint on his armor that is supposed to be there, so I'm glad I didn't scrape that off before I looked at the ForgeWorld finished model. But the model is just so beautiful to look at. It just looks amazing. There's so much detail. The sculpt of the armor, the ornate, elaborate, all the sleek lines and the rivets in the different areas just make it look like an older, ancient piece of relic armor, and it's just really, really fantastic. You can tell I'm doing all these videos on the same day because, oops, I had this little piece of paint on my thumb here. My last couple of videos, I think I've had the same thing. Just a beautiful model, really great. The ease of putting it together, definitely, if you are not somebody who has worked with resin models before or fine cast models, I would say let somebody else do it for you. Let an older gamer, if you are a young, teenager getting into the hobby, or if you're not experienced with shaving mold lines or with cutting off the tabs. Let me just point out a couple of places that were particularly difficult. Up here, there were these two tabs connecting these two pieces of the star, and if I had been a little bit more forceful, or if I had clipped in a different area than I did, like if I clipped down here at the paw rather than up here next to the star, then the force of pressure exerted to clip this tab away would have caused this whole point to break off. And the same thing with this side. You just want to be careful about where you're clipping. And some of the tabs, as you saw, were pretty big. So So that's something to watch out for. Also, you might notice on the back of his tabard here, you can see some light shining through. So I'm gonna have to reinforce that with some green stuff, but I mean, when I was cleaning it and washing it and stuff, it didn't completely fall apart, so that's good. If it was fine cast, I noticed stuff like that when you scrub a little bit or when you're trying to brush off the mold release agent, it'll just break right through, but this one held, so it's still too bad that, you know, it's so thin, but the sculpt and the detail on the front to make this tabard look the way it does, like it's flowing with the wind, is really, you know, it's really something. So my hat's off to the sculptor, my hat's off to the ForgeWorld manufacturing department. I think it's a great model. So thanks for jumping in and watching this little unboxing and Fluff Hunters episode of the Astral Claws. I hope you enjoyed it, and I know I did, and I can't wait to get some paint on this model. So let me know what you think. Comments, criticisms, what your thoughts are on the model, on the Astral Claws, on Chaos Space Marines in general. Is it stupid to want to paint up a Renegade chapter back when they were loyalists? I don't think so, because you see a lot of pre-heresy, Thousand Suns, Death Guard, and World Eaters out there, so I'm having a good time, and I hope you all enjoyed the video. See you in the next one!